Hello everyone. I was inspired to make this video after a roundtable virtual discussion that my friend Jamel hosted regards to mental health. And I wanted to just use this time to speak on some of the notes that I had written about, mental health and my thoughts on it a while ago now. And so I just want to clarify again my understanding between the difference of mental health and mental illness. So your mental health is your mental functioning. Again, your thought processes, how much you hold on to these thoughts or these feelings and let them out. It can then turn into a mental illness where now your mind is sick. Just like you have a physical illness, your body is sick, our mind can then become sick. Physical illnesses can also be cured or just monitored and taken care of, right? Just like our mind. And so from my notes, I want to start from the scientific aspect. Right? So again, a virus is a corrupting, emphasis on corrupting, influence, and emphasis on influence. It's capable of copying itself. So a virus that might be in your body is capable of copying itself. This virus can cause infections and diseases. Now, I broke down infections and diseases as well. An infection is an invasion of a virus, bacteria, or parasite, and it's not normally present in the body. A disease is a harmful deviation from the normal. I'm going to say that again. A disease is a harmful deviation, meaning you're now gone away from what's normal, what's supposed to be typical. A disease affects the structure and the function of blank. You can fill in the blank. It affects the structure, how something is built, and the function of it, how it's supposed to operate. So now let's put in that definition with this. So infection is an invasion of a corrupting influence, aka virus. Definition of bacteria. Bacteria can live on its own, whereas a virus needs a host. We also said an infection is an invasion of a parasite. A parasite causes diseases. Remember, we said a disease is a harmful deviation from what's supposed to be normal. So now the parasite causes something that is affecting your structure or function. A parasite lives in another in order to grow. I'm just going to quickly deviate real quick. The enemy is a parasite. The enemy has to live in you to feed off of your negative thoughts, your negative emotions, your feelings, negative circumstances. He lives in that and keeps growing if there's nothing that cuts him off, right? So now an illness is an unhealthy condition or functioning. Remember the word functioning? From the term disease, it affects the function. An illness is an unhealthy condition or functioning of the body. AKA a sickness or a disease is an illness. It affects the function of your body. So now we're almost done. Remember we said in the beginning, a virus is a corrupting influence. We're going to look at those two terms, corrupt and influence. It's a corrupting, it's a change, it's causing error, right? It's a delusion, it's a mistake, it's something that's wrong. Influence. It has an effect on character, development, or behavior. So now a virus is a corrupting or changing influence effect. So a virus is a change on your character. A virus is a change on your development. A virus is a change in your behavior. Now, how does this all relate to mental illness? Remember, not mental health, mental illness. How does all of these scientific terms relate to mental illness? I will show it to you or say it to you right now. Mental illness derives from a virus. This virus can be, like I said, life's circumstances, especially life circumstances that has started from young, from birth, from even being in your mother's womb, right? That virus can start from there, keep growing and growing. Remember, we said a parasite needs something to live in and feed off of in order to keep growing and growing. This virus will now create infections or more invasions. Oh, what's now invading you all the more? What's now adding on to these other issues that were never dealt with, that were never even brought to your mind or your attention, something that you weren't even aware of? Now, more corrupting influence, now more invasions are being added onto that, creating sickness, creating illness in your mind, now taking over your whole being. Remember, your character, your behavior, your development. Mental development is affected by this change, by this virus, by these circumstances, by these thoughts, by these experiences, by these emotions that are retained. As human beings, we have to have emotions or else you're dead. As long as you're living and breathing, you're going to have an emotion. And that's okay. That's normal. That makes us a human being. And even animals have emotions. That makes us living beings. It's okay to have emotions. I don't ever want you to think I'm saying don't have feelings. The issue is when these feelings reside, they stay, they don't get changed. You don't come out of a feeling, right? You stay in that mood. That's where the issue lies. That's where now everything gets bottled and topped on top of one another, right? This virus keeps growing now because those feelings weren't dealt with. They stayed. And now something else added onto it and something else. It's okay to have feelings, but it's never okay to stay in those feelings. It's never okay to not want to get out of these feelings or try to seek an alternative to what seems to be true, right? What are the influences that's impacting your mental development, your mental health? Going back to that term now. What influences are impacting the functioning of your mind? Remember, we said health is just your physical. It can also be your physical being, right? What now is affecting your physical being? What are you eating, right? What are you putting in that's affecting your physical being? What are you putting in that's affecting your mental being, right? What's not coming out that's affecting your physical being, right? We all need to defecate, right? At least once a day, at least. And still, it's important to even defecate at least twice a day. But when those things aren't coming out of you, that feces is not coming out of you, that's affecting your physical being, right? So things go in that needs to come out. We eat a burger, but it needs to digest and do its inner things and now come out, right? It should come out so that it does not mess up our inner being. What's going in that's not coming out? What's going in our minds and from our hearts, or even through our ears, the things that we hear, the things that we see, right? We are sensual beings. Whether you're blind, you don't have your sense of sight, you still have your hearing, your touch. We are sensual beings. And so whatever we are taking in with our senses, right? How is it being processed? Remember, digestive system. How are those things being processed up here? And are they coming out, especially if it's not good for you, right? Fast food's not the best. Yummy, fast, quick, sometimes cheap, but not always the best, and it needs to come out. What are some things that are in here that's not the best, that needs to come out so that it doesn't turn into an illness? Too much fast food that doesn't come out, that just keeps coming in and in, can turn into an illness. High cholesterol, high blood pressure, you name it. What's going in here that needs to come out so that it doesn't turn into an illness. Who or what is now living in your mind? Remember, we said a parasite lives in another in order to grow, right? Therefore, the enemy, now from a spiritual context, I got to put that in there. The enemy is a parasite, right? The devil is a parasite. He feeds off of these negative things. He cannot feed off of positivity. He cannot feed off of hope. Those things kill him, right? Those things don't allow him to grow. But what things are retaining and remaining in here that's allowing him to grow? So I hope this video has helped. You know, again, I've heard the saying, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be okay. And that's when you go seek a doctor. You're having an upset stomach. Your shoulders are hurting, right? It's okay to say, Doc, I'm not okay. I'm not feeling well. Please check this out. Please check out this pain. It's okay to not feel okay in your mind and in your heart, but you got to get that checked out. You got to get the mind checked out as well as you check out your body. We have annual physicals. And sometimes it's okay to go more than once to your doctor to make sure all is well, especially if you're not feeling well, right? And if you don't want to go to the doctor, you don't have insurance, you take some over-the-counter medications to make sure you feel better. How come we don't do the same thing here? We let things fester. You're not going to let your pain shoulder keep hurting you after months. You're going to figure a way out to get that fixed, to make it well again. You're not going to keep dealing with stomach pains. Listen, gas is a pain that you don't want to keep dealing with. So you're going to do something to make your stomach feel well. It shouldn't be that hard for up here. And I know it's not easy. I know it takes a lot of humility. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of self-awareness and just, again, back to courage to speak the feelings, to speak the thoughts. It takes a lot. Even if you cannot go to another being, write it out to yourself. You have to be honest with yourself, because if you're not honest with yourself, there's no point in speaking to someone else because you're going to withhold truth. So please be honest with yourself first. Write out these thoughts, write out these feelings, write out these insecurities, write out whatever is bothering you. Where the pain is, you have to acknowledge it. You're feeling stomach pain, shoulder pain. You're going to go to your doctor and just sit there and not say anything. You just wasted your time and you're still going to have to pay the bill. Why not say where the pain is? So in order to take care of your mental health so that it doesn't become an illness, we have to monitor it. We have to mend it, take care of it, bring it back to what was once whole, to what was once normal. Remember, we said a disease is a deviation from the norm. Let's bring it back. What are some things you can do to bring it back? There are so many painful things we've all been through. Yours might not look like mine. Yours might not be on the same level as mine, and vice versa. But there's something or someone that has damaged us in some way or form. But what can we do to make us whole again? What can you do to help your mental health? Hope this video has blessed someone, and I pray that God continues to bless you all. Don't be afraid to speak to him. I know he's not a physical being, so it's hard for many of us to believe not in just him, but believe that he's hearing us and believe that he wants to help us. But Psalm 18, chapter 18 and verse 18 says, God is our support. He will reach down and come for you and support you. He is your support. Just know that you have somebody out there that loves you. God bless you.